Welcome back to our Volvo P1800. As you can see, nothing really looks like it's changed very much. We are still paint stripping. Why are we going through that process? It's because sandblasting, it takes a lot more material off, and yes, it's faster and a lot more efficient. But that's all it really is. So stripping back the paint, we've actually found more rust that shot blasting or bead blasting or sandblasting would have otherwise got rid of. So we can still see all the areas we have to tackle. We can see here and other areas that we do have rust. We'll have to address that rust. Now that might be that we have to cut the panel out. It might just be a bit of surface rust that got covered over, but we do have to address it. Scraping off with paint stripper, it allows us to see all these areas. Allows us to go through it section by section and get it perfect. So here's just one example on the rear boot section towards the front. This has all been treated. This has all been primered, it's been filled, and yet there's still rust underneath it hiding. And that will just continue to rust, maybe from the outside in or inside out. But we have to treat all this rust. If we'd have shot blasted it, all of this would be gone, so would the rust, and we just wouldn't know. So just a quick word on safety. Body shells are inherently unstable and they don't weigh very much. When you're on a two-post hoist, we always strap them down. It's quite a common practice to do that, and it's always worthwhile. If you're pushing and scraping and pulling and twisting, it's very easy to push these things off the hoist. So it's always safer to strap them onto it, and that way you know it won't move. We've finally got all the paint stripped off. We've put it on the body jig. This has showed up that the body shell is actually twisted by 25mm. That's quite a lot. What we're able to do with this rig is set the shell up so we can identify exactly where. And it's very important because we've identified that we're going to have to remove some of the chassis parts themselves, some of the outriggers, and that'll also help it twist. So we can keep it all in line, make it a nice square shell at the end of it. It'll also help us to understand how the car fits, how we can align doors properly before we actually come to doing it. We can hold the car nice and still. So this is our jig. It's quite a technical but equally quite simple to use piece of equipment when you know how. We've got this set slightly off at the moment because we've done a lot of our measuring and we're going to be making some changes. And when we straighten it all up a little bit, we will drop it back down to make sure that everything is perfect. And then we can make our small adjustments. Like I say, this is 25mm out, so we have to find exactly where it is. And we've also got to change the panels and keep it where it is. We are now breaking down parts of the chassis and covering a little bit more rust. We're making our own chassis parts because you just can't buy them. You can buy certain replacement parts, but structural parts of the car you just can't buy. So Manoj has very carefully crafted a chassis leg. This part actually will be fitting up inside here. We have a final bit of work to do, make a few more plates, but we'll get it done. So we're making our templates so we can line the holes up. We can see what the metal is going to look like when it's made. We can then transfer that to a piece of flat metal and draw around it literally and cut it out. And that will start our basis of a new chassis arm. So once we've finished reinforcing our chassis and replacing our chassis legs, we'll be moving on to inside the car, concentrating on the floor. You should follow us to continue watching more.